10 months ago, I started selling digital products on Etsy with the goal of making $10,000 a month. And as usual, I'm tracking my progress and sharing the things that I've been learning along the way. To recap, in the past 9 months, I have gotten a total of 1,113 orders for a revenue of approximately $7,820, making a profit of $2,858. In the month before, March, my sales dropped by 34%, which I thought would be attributed to my lack of new listings. But last month, April, was actually even busier. And this time, I had left it alone for about 2 weeks because I took a week-long trip to Taiwan, watched a Gracie Abrams concert, and then my life got a little more chaotic when a really energetic new kitten moved in with me. But surprisingly, my shop has performed significantly better than it did in March. Let me show you what I mean. For April, I got almost 4,000 visits to my shop. I was actively listing during the first half, and then the second half of the month is when I was actually away and quite preoccupied. But as you can see, the visits to my shop are more consistently higher here on the second half of the month. My conversion rate rose to 5.7%, which has gotten me 222 orders for the month. At this point, I even got 18 orders in a day, which is the highest I've ever gotten in a single day. My worst performing days are still around the weekend, which sometimes just gets 2 orders during those periods. But on average, that equates to 5 to 7 orders a day. And this has gotten me a revenue of $1,493.52 for this month. Now let's go to my ads. I have gotten about 105,000 views, which has earned me 2,087 clicks. So that's a 2% click-through rate. I actually turn my ads on and off every single day during specific times. And I do that even though I'm away on vacation. But there are a couple days here that I forgot to turn on my ads. But anyway, 130 orders came from those ads. So that's a separate conversion rate of 6.2%. For ad spend, I spent $484.69, but it brought me back $874.33 in revenue, which is an improvement from last month where I only got less than $200 back. All of this brings me to a net profit of 35,889.91 Philippine pesos, which is about $645.50. Beating out my previous best month in February by about 500 pesos or 10 bucks. So in the span of 10 months, I have gotten a total of 1,334 orders for a new total revenue of $9,313, and minus all the expenses, a new total net profit of approximately $3,500. And dare I say, my shop is actually able to somewhat run itself at this point and still make a decent profit, even without posting new listings in extended periods of time. Though I'm still far from my goal of 10K a month, that's still a plus in my book because I'm able to add to my monthly income somewhat passively. Although I use the term passively very cautiously because I still go in every day to answer customer inquiries, set up and monitor my ads, and set up sales. Having said that, I try not to go too long without posting anything new in my shop. After all, I'm trying to build a business that will hopefully eventually become a full-time thing for me. If you're familiar with Hannah Gardner, she said something that really stuck with me in one of her more recent videos. And it's that building an Etsy shop takes the same amount of effort, whether you treat it as a side hustle or a full-time business. So even though there will be periods of downtime, such as, extended trips, new life changes, or being really busy with work, it's important to still be able to make time to post new listings on Etsy, especially since it gets more competitive each day with new listings and new sellers coming in every single minute. Fortunately, if you sell digital templates like I do, especially on Canva, it doesn't have to take too much of our time to make a new product or listing. You see, even though we sell templates, a lot of the time, people aren't necessarily looking to redesign the whole thing. They're mostly just looking to replace a few text or perhaps just add some personal information. Then they'll hit export. With that, we don't have to be constantly reinventing the wheel or spending hours continuously coming up with new layouts. Sometimes a simple change in color and text can mean the difference between a listing that sells or doesn't sell. And I've seen this happen so many times in my own listings because a lot of the time people aren't just looking at the layout, they're also looking at the colors, the fonts, and just the general whole feel of the template. And if it's less work for them, then they're more likely to purchase that template. Now on Canva, making these changes is as easy as making a few clicks. Let me show you. So I have this reading journal template and it has 8 pages to it. But to redesign this template, we don't have to go through every single page and change each element into the color or font that we want. So we're just gonna click on one element, for example, this one, this red border, and I'm just gonna change it to this shade of blue. Then I'm gonna go down here and click on change all. And now when we go through all of our pages, all of the elements that were previously red are now blue. And we can do the same for fonts. So I'm gonna click on this cursive font, and let's say I wanna make it this more athletic type of font. And then we click on change all. And again, all of the fonts in all of the pages that were previously cursive are now in that new font. You could go and just fix things up a bit to make it more aesthetic. But basically, this is the new template that we have. The vibe is completely new. From the red template, which was more feminine, we now have this sort of blue reading journal, which is more athletic and masculine in feel. Now all we have to do is take this design and drop them into our listing photos template. Which, if you don't have a template for your listing photos, I highly suggest that you make them to make things easier for you. And I even have a free template for 15 different types of listing photos. The link will be in the description below. A while back, I got this very interesting question from someone called Kung Fu Junkie, and it is, what is your plan for growing your sales over time? More focus on existing products or more range of products? So to answer that, it's actually a mix of both, depending on how much time I have. Finding new products does take time because there has to be some research behind it. I don't make a new product for the sake of making it, so when I have some time to set aside for new types of digital products, I still research what's new, what's trending, and what has some demand to it. I would never just directly copy a bestseller's design. So when I make a design from scratch, it takes a few hours, sometimes days, depending on how extensive the product is. But during periods when I don't have much time to dedicate to new product types, just like last month, I just double down on existing and well-performing products using the technique I just showed you. This technique is what I use to make Father's Day listings from my existing Mother's Day designs. So we'll see how those will perform in May. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button or leave a reaction below. And I'll see you on the next video.